natural driver with a great deal of subsequent polish. And now very much in command of this race, as he's been in command of many others since he joined the Holden dealer team.
So with only the second half of the race in front of him, it remains to be seen whether Bond can stay on the track. If he does, I think it's not a certainty, but quite a distinct probability that he'll win this race easily, because he has such a substantial lead at this moment over John Goss in the Ford GT, who's holding down second place, but doing so in a great deal of difficulty. A bigger car, and in these conditions he's having to work a lot harder to keep it on the track, let alone try and catch up the leeway with which he trails Bond.
We'll see here the rather sort of toothless appearance of the big Ford. It's running conventional sized wheels, very low profile tyres which are about half the conventional thickness, designed to give higher road holding under racing conditions. This explains why it appears to have rather curious caster-like wheels. Stepping out now around one of the escorts down the straight. Speed differential here of somewhere between 20 and 30 miles an hour. Goss motors effortlessly past.
Barry Bassingthwaite's escort.
Barry Bassingthwaite with his orange and black escort. Still in second place, and still working fairly hard, wasting no time lapping slower cars, and still with that motorboat-like power slide exit from the S's as he heads up towards the crossing. Watch also, the Ford seems to swallow the bumps on the crossing considerably better than the Tiranas, which are obviously much harder sprung. It is a big motor car indeed, not really the sort of thing that you expect to be hurling around a fairly tight race circuit like Warwick Farm.
Slight dent in the offside rear fender.
You hear that strong swell of 6 litres of V8. Was a little short on handling, and certainly embarrassed by the wet conditions, which don't really suit a car of this style. But getting as much power as he possibly can onto the wet road. Gradually falling back though on Bond, who's leading the race, but keeping his lead over third place man Bob Morris with the bright red Tirana. And it looks as though Morris is about to be lapped, or is it sort of unlapped as it were, by Peter Brock. Back in the race again, and pulling strongly away now at this stage from Bob Morris.
And in fact, Peter Brock has moved up into 5th position, Graham, so the order with the Tiranas really going well. Colin Bond leading from John Goss. In 3rd place is the Tirana of Bob Morris, followed by another Tirana of Don Holland, and Peter Brock has moved into 5th place, so 4 Tiranas in the first 5.
Bond with no one in sight, 4 or aft, stepping out from Creek, up through the S's and under Shell Bridge. Still on this quite exuberant line with the tail hung well out, car fully under control. And it seems now that the road perhaps drying a little. You can start to see wheel tracks up there. And likewise, I think Bond not pressing as hard as he was in the early stages of the race.
One stage had a lead of 29 seconds. He would have increased that slightly, but does appear to have eased off just slightly with some 5, perhaps 5.5 laps to go. But as Colin Bond comes down towards the finish line to complete his 13th lap, the second place getter is John Goss in the Ford GT, and he's only coming across the causeway now, so that's at least half the circuit by which he trails the leader.
A while yet before we see Ford's return as a competitive force in touring car racing of this type in Australia. But there's obvious potential, I think, in the fastback Falcon. It's not the graceful car which I felt the four-door Falcon GT was, but it's certainly an exciting shape. Makes a very good noise.
Colin Bond leads John Goss by 41 seconds, and there are 33 seconds between John Goss in second place and the third place car, Bob Morris, in the Tirana XU1. So the field well strung out. 41 seconds between first and third, between first and second, 33 seconds between second and third, which is well over a minute separating the first three place getters, with only about 5 laps to go. Bob Holden off the track to the left, one of the earlier casualties over on the right.
It's been a race full of incident. Murray Carter now in centre screen, has starred in several of them. John Goss has managed to curb his tremendous natural exuberance and keep everything more or less organised and more or less pointed in the direction he wants to go. But it's been a fine drive from John nonetheless.
Now two of the big cars in the race coming together with Goss, hot on the tail of the Falcon GTHO of Murray Carter. But Carter, after having been all that splash from the large pool of water on the track, Carter, having been off the track a couple of times, isn't likely to surrender his position so easily to another driver. He's had to do it the hard way, then I'm sure that he's going to make everybody else have it the same way.
What I would expect Goss to do here would be to try to time his exit from the causeway so that he's going faster than Carter, and try and catch him up on the run, the straight line run up to Polo, and at least draw level with him, as he's trying to do now. He may be able to assert his right to the corner, but Carter won't let him have it, and the procedure starts again.
No doubt after they've gone past the finishing line in Pitt Straight and then around over the Western Crossing into Hume Straight, we'll see a little bit of action between these two, with the two large engine cars, the Falcon GTHO of Murray Carter leading John Goss in the Ford GT at the moment, but for how long?